Edward Snowden, the NSA whistleblower who exposed government surveillance, secretly helped create one of the most advanced privacy cryptocurrencies in the world. For 6 years, nobody knew that. Then, Zcash revealed the truth in 2022. Nowadays, the coin just exploded 150% in 1 week. As usual, I'm not giving you any financial advices here, and I encourage you to do your own research. Before we get into how Snowden's involvement is connected to a seemingly obscure coin that saw a massive price surge, you need to understand what just happened in the market. While everyone was watching Bitcoin and its near all-time high, privacy coins quietly outperformed it by 2x. Zcash gained 150% in just days. But this isn't just another crypto pump. This is about the battle for financial privacy in a world moving toward total surveillance. And the technology Snowden helped create is at the center of it. By the end of this video, you will understand why institutional money is finally flowing into privacy coins, why governments are terrified of them, and whether this represents a real investment opportunity for us. October 2016. Zcash is about to launch, but there's a problem. They need to perform something called a trusted setup ceremony. Basically, a high-tech ritual where 6 people around the world each hold a piece of a master key. The entire network's security depends on at least one person properly destroying their piece after launch. 6 participants, 5 of them revealed. 1 used the alias John Dobbertin. For 6 years, his identity remained a mystery. Then in 2022, Zcash drops a documentary and reveals the truth. John Dobbertin was Edward Snowden, operating from exile in Russia. Think about what this means. The man who sacrificed everything to expose the NSA's mass surveillance program chose to risk his already precarious situation for a cryptocurrency focused on privacy. But here's what most people miss. Snowden's involvement didn't stop there. He's been consistently supporting privacy technology, most recently backing the legal defense fund for Tornado Cash developers facing federal charges. His statement: "Privacy is not a crime." This isn't just a celebrity endorsement, guys. This is a validation from someone who understands surveillance at the deepest level possible. And the market is starting to wake up to what that means. Before we analyze the current explosion, let's get clear on what privacy coins actually do, because most people fundamentally misunderstand precisely this. Well, Bitcoin, for example, is not anonymous. Every transaction is permanently visible on a public ledger. Anyone can see exactly how much you have and where you send it. Privacy coins, on the other hand, use advanced cryptography to hide that information. Here's how the top 3 privacy coins work. And I mean top 3 based on usage, adoption, and long-term potential, not merely the current market cap. Well, number 1, understandably, is Zcash, the coin Snowden helped create. It uses zero-knowledge proofs called ZK snarks. You can prove you have enough money to complete a transaction without revealing your balance. Currently, about 3.8 million of the token sits in private shielded protocols. That's almost 25% of all the supply. And here's what serial entrepreneur and investor Naval Ravikant says on the topic. Bitcoin is insurance against fiat. Zcash is insurance against Bitcoin. Another example of a privacy coin is Monero, the gold standard of privacy. Every transaction is private by default using 3 layers. Ring signatures that mix your transaction with 10 decoys, stealth addresses that create unique receiving addresses, and ring city that hides amounts. It's mathematically impossible to trace without sophisticated analysis. Monero has got a market cap of just about $5.9 billion. That makes it over twice as big as Zcash. And then there's also Dash, which offers optional privacy through private send mixing. Less advanced than Zcash or Monero, but it's found real adoption with thousands of merchants in Latin America. A little lower in the pecking order indeed, but the long-term potential is there. Here's the shocking part, guys. While Bitcoin and Ethereum gained about 30%, a few percent give or take, privacy coins as a category went up by over 70% in the past year. They're not just surviving regulatory pressure, they seem to be thriving because of it. Now let's talk about why this is happening right now. Zcash didn't just pump randomly. There are 4 specific catalysts driving this surge. First, institutional money is entering. Grayscale launched their Zcash trust with over $60 million in assets under management. This gives institutions regulated exposure to privacy coins for the first time, guys. When you see institutional grade investment vehicles being created, smart money is paying attention. Second, real usage is growing. This isn't speculation driving prices. Zcash shielded transactions increased 15.5% month over month. People are actually using it for privacy. Trading volumes hit $292 million during the peak. That's a 1,000% increase from normal levels. Third, the regulatory paradox. Here's something counterintuitive. The more governments ban privacy coins, the more valuable they become. It's digital prohibition, basically. In 2025 alone, 73 exchanges delisted privacy coins, up 43% from 51 exchanges in 2023. But trading just moved elsewhere. Decentralized exchanges now handle 40% of privacy coin volume, up from 18% in 2021. Total DEX volume hit over $1.3 trillion in Q3, and much of that growth came from privacy coin trading. You cannot kill decentralized technology by just banning it from centralized platforms. You just make it more valuable, it seems. And the fourth catalyst, the CBDC threat. As governments roll out central bank digital currencies with total surveillance capabilities, people are realizing they need alternatives. China's digital yuan, for example, tracks every transaction. Europe is developing something similar. On the other hand, US Congress passed the Anti-CBDC Surveillance State Act because of privacy concerns. But that's the current Congress, and we cannot be sure about the next one. The point is that if your government has the technology and will to implement surveillance money, maybe privacy coins won't seem so radical after all. To understand how serious this battle has become, we need to talk about what happened to Roman Storm, a developer who built privacy software and ended up facing federal charges. Tornado Cash was a smart contract on Ethereum that mixed transactions to provide privacy. It processed over $7 billion since 2019. The problem? About 30% was allegedly linked to illegal activities, according to prosecutors. In August 2023, the FBI arrested Roman Storm and charged him with conspiracy to commit money laundering, operating an unlicensed money transmission business, and violating sanctions. Here's the critical point. Storm didn't control user funds. Tornado Cash was non-custodial software governed by a DAO. Storm just wrote the code. Users controlled their own money. Trial ended in August 2025 with a split decision. The jury convicted Storm of operating an unlicensed money transmitting business, but deadlocked on the more serious charges. This left a massive question unanswered. Should developers be criminally liable when third parties use their software for illegal activities? Edward Snowden backed Storm's legal defense, arguing that privacy is not a crime. The crypto industry is watching because if writing privacy software becomes illegal, it sets a terrifying precedent for all developers. This is the environment privacy coins are operating in, and somehow they are still growing. One of the biggest obstacles to privacy coins comes from something called the FATF travel rule. Financial Action Task Force requires exchanges to share customer information for any transaction over $1,000. Here's the problem though. When you send crypto from one exchange to another, both must share your identity information, name, address, account numbers, everything. But how can exchanges comply with information sharing requirements when the entire point of privacy coins is to hide that information? The result has been predictable. Major exchanges like Binance, Kraken, and OKX removed privacy coins from the regulated markets rather than figure out compliance. But here's what regulators didn't anticipate. Users adapted. DEX trading volume continues its steady growth since March, with privacy coins making up a significant portion of that. You cannot enforce KYC on decentralized exchanges, remember? The numbers tell the story. This report by CoinLaw states that 97 countries implemented stricter privacy coin frameworks by early 2025. Compliance costs for blockchain companies rose 28% to $620,000 annually. Privacy coin trading on centralized exchanges dropped significantly, yes, but DEX trading surged. This regulatory pressure is actually validating why privacy coins exist in the first place, in my opinion. Let me be direct about the investment case here. This is high risk, high reward with no middle ground, really. Let's start with my bull case. privacy coins are outperforming the market by 2x. The data supports this momentum. The total privacy coin market cap is between $10 to $11 billion depending on estimates. Institutional interest is growing too, through vehicles like Grayscale's Zcash trust. And in terms of adoption, 40% of privacy coins trading now happens on decentralized platforms, up from 18% as I mentioned in 2021. It seems that they are benefiting from regulatory arbitrage. As they get banned from more places, they become more valuable. That is counterintuitive, but it's what the data shows. We have to be prepared also for the bear case. Privacy coins could face total regulatory bans. The EU wants to prohibit them from 2027 on. Governments could make holding them illegal, not just trading them. By the way, do you think that all of a sudden the EU will become that much safer in 2027 with illegal activity eradicated after the privacy coins ban? Or are there some other factors at play? Tell me in the comment section, please. In this more pessimistic scenario, there's also the technology risk. If quantum computers manage to break current encryption, privacy guarantees disappear. If regulators force backdoors into the code, same result basically. Here's my call though. Privacy coins are either going to zero due to regulatory pressure, or they're going to become essential infrastructure for the digital economy. There's probably no middle ground. If you believe privacy and financial privacy by extension is a fundamental human right, Edward Snowden it clearly does, then having exposure makes sense as part of a diversified portfolio. But this is not a safe investment. Don't bet money you cannot afford to lose. The technology works, yes, the demand is growing. The question is whether governments will allow the market to exist. Nobody knows the answer yet. Looking ahead, 3 things will determine where privacy coins go from here. First is regulatory clarity. The Tornado Cash case and similar legal battles will set precedents. We'll either get clearer rules that legitimize privacy technology or outright bans. The next 12 to 18 months will be critical here. Second is the institutional adoption. More investment vehicles like Grayscale's trust could emerge. Traditional finance needs privacy tools for sensitive transactions. And if institutions get comfortable with regulatory frameworks, capital will flow in. And in third place, the CBDC response. As surveillance currencies roll out globally, demand for privacy alternatives will likely increase. Privacy coins could become the cash of the digital age, the only way to transact without government tracking every purchase. The technology is evolving too. Zcash eliminated trusted setups entirely with their Halo upgrade. Cross-chain privacy protocols are enabling private transactions across different blockchains too. The tech is actually getting better while regulatory pressure increases. This seems to be an arms race between privacy technology and government control. Which side will shape the future of money is still up for grabs. The privacy coin revolution isn't just about making money. It's about preserving fundamental freedoms in the digital age. Edward Snowden understood this when he secretly helped launch Zcash back in 2016. He risked his reputation because he knew financial privacy would become a critical battleground. And he was right. The 150% surge in Zcash isn't just a price pump either. It's a signal that people are waking up to the importance of financial privacy. As governments deploy surveillance currencies and track every transaction, privacy coins offer an alternative vision. Whether you invest or not, you need to understand this space because it represents the philosophical core of why cryptocurrency was invented in the first place: freedom from financial surveillance and control. All in all, the data shows privacy coins have the potential to outperform the market. Institutional money is entering, usage is growing, but regulatory risk is massive and real, so you do with that what you will. Now, if this analysis helped you understand what's really happening with privacy coins, Zcash in particular, hit that like button, guys, and subscribe for more data-driven crypto content that goes beyond the headlines. I'm Stan, and I thank you for watching airdrops.com. See ya.